Good morning. I want to begin today with a poem by our own Philip Levine, which for me says a great deal about who we are and why we're here. It's titled Among Children. I walk among the rows of bowed heads. The children are sleeping through 4th grade so as to be ready for what is ahead, the monumental boredom of junior high, and the rush forward, tearing their wings loose, their eyes, and turning their eyes forever inward. These are the children of Flint. Their fathers work at the spark plug factory or truck bottled water in 5-gallon sea blue jugs to the widows of the suburbs. You can see already how their backs have thickened, how their small hands, soiled by pig iron, leap and stutter even in dreams. I would like to sit down among them and read slowly from the book of Job until the windows pale and the teacher rises out of a milky sea of industrial scum, her gowns streaming with light, her foolish words transformed into song. I would like to arm each one with a quiver of arrows so that they might rush like wind, there where no battle rages, shouting among the trumpets, ha, ha. How dear the gift of laughter in the face of the 8-hour day. The cold winter mornings without coffee and oranges, the long lines of mothers in old coats waiting silently where the gates have closed. 10 years ago, I went among these same children, just born, in the bright ward of the Sacred Heart and leaned down to hear their breaths delivered that day, burning with joy. There was such wonder in their sleep, such purpose in their eyes, dosed against autumn, in their damp heads blurred with the hair of ponds. And not one turned against me or the light. Not one said, I am sick, I am tired, I will go home. Not one complained or drifted alone, unloved, on the hardest day of their lives. 11 years from now, they will become the men and women of Flint, or Paradise, the majors of a minor town, and I will be gone into smoke or memory. So I bow to them here and whisper, all I know, all I will never know. Now, Philip Levine's voice here, full of heart and grace and dedication to teaching those who will make the future, reminds us why we're here. And indeed, we are going forward with heart and grace and dedication this year. And I am once again deeply grateful and deeply impressed by all that you do for our students, for the region, and for the academic disciplines that you enrich through your scholarship and artistry. I want to return to Phil Levine's poem in a few minutes after some updates and announcements that will give you a glimpse of the year ahead. There have been some administrative and organizational changes since last year's opening day. Andrew Rogerson has left us to become provost at Sonoma State, and Andrew Hoff, who is Dean of Health and Human Services, has also taken over as interim Dean of College and Science and Mathematics. So this is Be Kind to Andy Week in that connection. And Rick Zeckman, we're very grateful that Rick Zeckman, Chair of Biology, has agreed to serve as interim Associate Dean in the College of Science and Math during this transitional period. Jose Diaz, our Associate Dean for Arts and Humanities, will be serving this fall semester as acting dean of the College of Arts and Humanities, while Dean Vita Samian is on a one-semester leave. Vita, however, will be very much in evidence at various points, so if you see her, don't be surprised, but she is leaving all of the most difficult and entrenched and insoluble matters to Joe Diaz. Kathy Moffitt has taken over as Associate Dean in the Craig School of Business. With the departure of Karen Carey, Sharon Brown Welty has been appointed for a 2-year term as Dean of Graduate Studies. With the retirement of Berta Gonzalez, Lynette Zalesny has been appointed for a 2-year term as Dean and Associate Vice President for Continuing and Global Education. And with some reorganization that I will describe in a moment, Dennis Neff has been appointed Dean of Undergraduate Studies and Associate Vice President for Academic Programs and Resources. Professor Asao Inoue of our English department has been appointed Special Assistant to the Provost for Writing Across the Curriculum. And Ted Wentz started in January as Interim Associate Vice President for Academic Personnel. We've also changed the administrative home of our American English Institute. Through its long and successful history, the American English Institute has been a mark of distinction at Fresno State and a point of pride for the College of Arts and Humanities. In association with the Department of Linguistics, AEI has provided expert instruction and orientation to generations of international students, helping to assure their successful transition to life in a new country. As we expand our internationalization efforts, AEI will become part of the Division of Continuing and Global Education. In order to meet the budget reduction targets this year, which are considerable and distressing, certainly to say the least, in order to meet those targets for the units that report directly to me and for those initiatives that are funded from the Provost's office, I've implemented a 10% reduction in most budgets or line items. In addition, we are consolidating administrative and staff support for undergraduate studies, graduate studies, and the Academic Affairs Budget Office into a unit that we are calling, as I mentioned a moment ago, Academic Programs and Resources. Dennis Neff has been appointed Associate Vice President for Academic Programs and Resources, and he will work as Dean of Undergraduate Studies with Sharon Brown Welty as Dean of Graduate Studies in that enterprise. The Graduate Studies operation has moved from the Thomas Building to the 4th floor of the library so that staff from Graduate Studies and Undergraduate Studies can work together on academic programs and initiatives. Associate Vice President Neff will oversee the academic budget as well in order to accommodate the October retirement of John Wayers from his position as Budget Director. With this reorganization and accompanying staff reassignments, we will save approximately $270,000. Additional savings from a 10% budget reduction for units and initiatives that are funded from the Provost's office will save an additional $920,000 for a total reduction of central administration costs and initiatives of about $1.2 million. However, this leaves a base budget gap of over $5 million for the schools, colleges, and the library. Those units have implemented measures that reduce this gap, but we are still projecting a total permanent gap of more than $2 million. We must both confirm and close this gap by the beginning of the next fiscal year. To that end, last spring I appointed an Academic Affairs Budget Advisory Task Force co-chaired by Dennis Neff and Michael Caldwell, and consisting of 6 faculty members, Professor Caldwell, Jim Farrar, Colleen Torgerson, John Constable, Dawn Lewis, and Antonio Avalos, and 4 administrators, Dennis Neff, Dean Robert Harper, Dean Andrew Hoff, and Associate Dean Monasher Zogi. By October 15th, the task force will recommend to me approaches to closing the estimated base budget gap between the university allocation to academic affairs and the recurring costs of operating academic affairs units in accord with university academic affairs and college and school strategic priorities and enrollment targets. We should not, even in the face of these kinds of difficult decisions that are ahead of us, however, reverse our commitment to faculty development and faculty research, because these are commitments that truly transform the lives of our students. Therefore, I will be continuing and attempting to increase support for undergraduate and graduate research. When our students work side by side with our professors, they take an important step toward a rewarding professional career. They become even more dedicated to academic success, and they contribute to the making of new knowledge that improves the quality of life. I'll also be maintaining and attempting to increase support for faculty assigned time for research, scholarship, and creative accomplishment. The dollars for this research support, which will amount to $400,000 for 2011-12, come from 2 sources. First, they come from the overhead or indirect dollars attached to our grants and contracts, especially those grants from federal agencies. Second, they come from the net revenue generated by the Division of Continuing and Global Education. As long as our sponsored research and continuing education efforts thrive, we should be able to continue moving toward more substantial research support for all faculty who are active scholars and artists. Our faculty development initiatives are crucial to providing students with learning environments that bring out their best efforts. The Center for the Scholarly Advancement of Learning and Teaching, CSALT, and our Office of Technology Innovations for Learning and Teaching, TILT, under the leadership of Associate Provost Jun, will be continuing and expanding its support for faculty this year. First, we'll continue to focus on improving student writing, advancing our exploration of how technology-based tools can help faculty build student writing skills. In addition, I've appointed, as I noted, Professor Asao Inoue as Special Assistant to the Provost for writing across the curriculum, and asked him to develop university-wide approaches to improving our students' writing. Second, we'll continue to encourage and support the redesign of high enrollment classes to provide the faculty with more effective and less burdensome approaches and to afford our students greater opportunity for success. Third, our Enhancing Student Information Literacy initiative, with the unfortunate acronym ESILI, will continue to add departments that want to help students evaluate and use information capably and critically. Fourth, we'll move forward an initiative that will further support the scholarship of learning and teaching. Its focus is to help faculty publish their findings about teaching and student learning in order to share it with others in their discipline and beyond. Each college and school will have a faculty coordinator who will work with the school and college faculty. Stay tuned for more details on that one. Fifth, we'll continue with our Partners in Education program, as well as our Peer Observation of Teaching program, designed to provide peer support and consultation for faculty in the teaching process. We continue to drive toward the greater and better use of technology. We are building a technology-enhanced, reconfigurable learning space classroom funded by a KEC grant in the IT building, and we're piloting a lecture caption system that will allow faculty to supplement the classroom experience by putting class material online. As you can see then, CSALT and TILT have excellent programs and opportunities planned for faculty this year. And in addition, starting this year, TILT will offer training sessions on site in the various schools and colleges. We make house calls, bringing technology support directly to the faculty on location. And CSALT will continue its support activities for all full-time and part-time lecturers. It's very gratifying for me to see our continuing commitment to faculty development, coupled with your talent and dedication and hard work, result in so many great faculty achievements. This was my second year reviewing faculty accomplishments as part of our retention, tenure, and promotion process. This year I reviewed 136 files in a no complaints really, in a very rewarding spring ritual that gives me fresh appreciation every time for your rich and full professional lives, for the great range of your interests, abilities, and achievements, and for the high standards that so many of you meet. The Academic Senate has passed a revision to our RTP process effective this year. Our two university committees, UBORT and UBOP, will be fused into one committee, URPTC, that I haven't figured out how to pronounce as an acronym yet. It's like ERPTIC, I think, but I'm not sure. URPTC, which will review any retention, tenure, or promotion cases that receive a negative review or no review at one or more prior level. Also, consistent with the passage of APM 322, the policy on the assessment of teaching effectiveness, we will this year begin administering student evaluation of teaching using forms provided by the IDEA Center. Training on how to customize and administer this new instrument will be held this fall, and we're looking forward to results that will help us continue improving teaching effectiveness and provide uniform feedback crucial to faculty development. One of my great pleasures last spring was a weekly visit to sit in on a class to better appreciate both the dedication of the faculty and the engagement of our students. This has been a real treat. I've learned about glass blowing and actually created my own rather odd-looking paperweight to prove it. I've learned how to distinguish amphetamines from antidepressants, although the students were way ahead of me on this one. I've learned how a master conductor gets the string section of the orchestra to brighten up, how to tell a good statistic from a bad one, and on and on. I'll be continuing these visits over the next year for those of you who invite me, and want to thank you in advance for letting me go back to school with a great core of master teachers. We continue to focus on the success of our students, both locally and through system-wide initiatives that represent the CSU's commitment to student success. The CSU Board of Trustees has directed that students who are not yet college ready in English and math must have an early start experience in the summer preceding their first fall semester. For this purpose, we'll be offering a series of early start courses in English and math next summer for students whose test scores put them in the remedial category. During the past year, our Fresno State Student Success Task Force has continued to focus on a system-wide initiative to improve our six-year graduation rate by 6% by the year 2015. Their efforts were bolstered, as the President mentioned, by the attainment of our highest ever retention rate for our fall 2009 entering cohort, 86.7%. And it looks like we're on track to nearly match that retention rate for the students who entered in fall 2010. Retaining nearly 87% of our students from the first to the second year is a tremendous achievement, resulting from a joint effort of faculty, staff, and the task force, and including initiatives to require freshman academic advising during the first spring semester, implementation of an academic success course for freshmen in academic difficulties after their first semester, academic support to increase the availability of tutoring, supplemental instruction for our most challenging courses, an early warning system for students who are struggling in their courses, and faculty staff mentoring. We are, as we've seen, welcoming 20 new tenure-track faculty to campus this year, including faculty who will join university-wide cohorts in 3 areas: globalization and world cultures, physical, psychological, and environmental health, and urban and regional transformation. For this coming year, I've authorized to this point 24 searches, including searches for a university-wide cohort of faculty that will develop teaching, research, and outreach initiatives that focus on water quality, water technology, and water management, including a new interdisciplinary online master's degree in water resource management. As the President has said, developing a diverse and highly qualified pool of applicants will be our top priority in every search. While we face great fiscal challenges, we must continue to build the tenure-track faculty in crucial areas. We owe this to our students. Our schools and colleges, the Henry Madden Library, and our offices of undergraduate studies, graduate studies, institutional research, assessment and planning, research and sponsored programs, service learning and community engagement, and continuing and global education have contributed in wonderful ways to our academic success over the last year. I'll be detailing some of those accomplishments at the Faculty Appreciation Reception at 4 today in the Residence Dining Hall. I hope that many of you can join us. But I must shout out a general thanks to our great deans, associate vice presidents, and directors, and in particular, the hardworking, incredibly talented, and absolutely essential support staff in each of our offices and programs. You are the ones who, on so many occasions, make it all happen. Thank you for that. During these very challenging times, I'm especially grateful that our commitment to academic quality is shared by each of our Fresno State vice presidents. Paul Oliaro embodies a passionate commitment to the success of our students and has worked with me to keep the quality of what we do in view at every step. Peter Smits has been a tireless cheerleader regionally, across the state, and nationally for the value of our academic programs and for the crucial importance of private support. And Cindy Matson has been a great champion for the facilities and space that allow our students and faculty to do their best, while she helps us to devise fiscal strategies and solutions that preserve academic quality even while it is under siege. And I'd underscore the President's comments on the achievements of our student athletes by stressing that under Thomas Bay's leadership, academic achievement remains a top priority. Let me return finally to the last lines of Phil Levine's poem, where he looks upon the men and women that our students will become. We're going forward today to teach those students that he calls the majors of a minor town. He says in those final lines, "I bow to them here and whisper all I know, all I will never know." Just so, we rededicate ourselves to sharing our own passion for learning and bequeathing to our students those big questions, all we will never know, that will shape the next 100 years of Fresno State and constitute your great, great legacy. Welcome, and thank you.